Let's get right into this review for The Damned. What a title for the first film I'll be reviewing this year. And in all honesty, this was a film that went under my radar until I saw screening times pop up at my local theater. And then I proceeded to take a glimpse at the trailer, which was interesting enough for me to want to sit in for a screening. And now, having witnessed this film in its entirety, my overall impressions of this cinematic package as a whole remains satisfactory. This film is directed by Thordur Pálsson, and I believe this is his first directorial debut for a bigger budget project. And before I get into the pros and cons, huge props to him because this was still an all-around solid film execution for the most part. Now, to start off with the positives, I thought the visuals and tone of this film was spot on. Having watched Robert Eggers' Nosferatu prior to this film, I found Thordur to have a similar visual style and flair reminiscent of Robert's craft of filmmaking. And this is definitely a good thing because both of their styles of storytelling work incredibly well within the horror genre. Now, the story being told here centers around the Nordic mythology of Draugrs, and I thought the film does a fantastic job in encapsulating and representing this mythical aspect into the narrative being told here. I also found the actors in this film to be satisfactory. They fit into their respective roles well enough, and I have no complaints with their overall acting abilities. And what I enjoyed most though with this film is a fusion of the slow burn pacing combined with the film's shorter runtime. The runtime for this film is 1 hour and 29 minutes, and this felt slightly longer due to the slow burn aspects, but in a good way. I love it when horror films go for a more methodical approach to the horror aspects and put more emphasis into brewing the dread and tension throughout the acts rather than the sudden scares to shake the audience whenever it needs to. And there's just something about this combination of the film's slower pacing and the fast runtime that just works for me here. But yeah, if a slow burn horror film isn't your cup of tea, I still think you're going to end up disappointed watching this film. Also, the horror aspects of this film are similar to Nosferatu. It's not an incredibly scary film, so if you're solely in it for the horror, I don't think this will satisfy you. As for my last positive, I found the core themes surrounding guilt and trauma to be told in an interestingly simple yet effective manner for a horror film. Now, as for the cons in this film, there isn't much that I found here other than one peculiar aspect, and I will say it's a pretty big flaw in my books. I found this to be a great cinematic experience up until I witnessed the conclusion. That aspect in Act 3 just didn't work for me at all. I fully understood what they were going for by the end, but it just doesn't come across in an effective manner. And I think the majority of viewers will end up disappointed and even confused at the conclusion. It was undeniably the exact opposite route that I would have gone for the story here. And I don't want to dwell into this more for spoilers' sake, but yeah, it's like in basketball terms, the film does an incredible job in dribbling the ball only to shoot the shot into the wrong basket. The ending leaves you hanging and there isn't any time to comprehend what you just witnessed. And once you start pondering about it post-screening, the story just isn't as cohesive as you would have liked it to be, and some C or B tier plot holes start to arise. So after everything considered, my final score for The Damned ends up being 6.5 out of 10. I will say though, for a good chunk of the story from Acts 1 to 2, this was an 8 out of 10 experience for me. And I'd still recommend this film for any avid moviegoers who are flexible and open to different cinematic experiences. But for anyone else with strong opinions, you'll undoubtedly be disappointed here by the end. Thanks for checking this review out. I got a lot more coming out this year and we're just getting started, so stay tuned and I shall see you on my next upload. Until then, peace.